Advaita Shini Vasa Chachadara Posi Achegora Chan Ratna Simasane Posi Achegora Chan Ratna Simasane Arati Korinabram Ari Devagane Arati Korinabram Ari Devagane Narari Ari Kori Chamaralaya Narari Ari Kori Chamaralaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Go Sharigaya Shankar Bhajiganta Bhaji Bhaji Karatala Shankar Bhajiganta Bhaji Bhaji Karatala Maruran Mandanga Baji Paramarasala Maruran Mandanga Baji Paramarasala Bahu Kotri Chandra Dini Varanadvala Bahu Kotri Chandra Dini Varanadvala Gala Deshe Banamala Koridamala Gala Deshe Banamala Koridamala Shiva Sukhanarada Preme Gara Gara Shiva Sukhanarada Preme Gara Gara Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gora Sampara Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gora Sampara Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ite Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Prasadaste Satarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Namamishvaram Satchit Anandarupam Vasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Yashoda Violo Kala Davamahanam Param Mishamatyantato Drutya Gopya. Udantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Rijantam Karam Boja Yugmena Satankanetram. Pushpasakam patire kankakanta Sita kraivam damodaram bhaktivaram.
Nimajantam akyapayantam Matastam Shatabhakti Bhakti Bhaktajitatam Na Prematastam Shatabhakti Bhakti Param Deva Moksham Na Mokshavarimva Nachanyam Reneham Vare Sharapiha. Idham Teva Purnata Gopala Balam Sadam he manastam astam kim hanyai. Astam kim hanyai. Idam te mukam bojam adyanta nilaya. Ritam kundalai snigdha raktaischa gopya. Mohus chumbitam bimba rakta daram he. Manasya virastam malam lakshalabai. Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabhi Magnam. Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Vadanu Grihane Shamam Hagyam Edyakshi Drishyat. Vedatmajau badha mityaiva yadvai Vayamo chitau bhakti vajakratau chai. Da prema bhaktim swakame priyasya Namo kshegraho me stitam hodadehai. Namaste Sudhamne Spurhadiptidamne Tvariyo Darayata Vishvasya Damne. Namo Radhikaya Pradiya Priyaya Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped and ran in retreat, in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful, and his breathing quick, and as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright, and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, who was bound with his devotee's love, I offer my humble obeisances.
Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned inhabitants of Goloka in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to this majestic aspect of Narayana and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor for the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor for any other similar boon. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as baby Gopala in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit, due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind.
O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me, uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision.
O Lord Damodara, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence.
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pravirajagacharya Ashtatar Shatashi Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pravirajagacharya Ashtatar Shatashi Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantikoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sago Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Hiranyakashi Vaksha Shila Tanka Nakalai Ito Nishingha Parito Nishingho Yato Yamitato Nishingha Bahir Nishingho Hiraye Nishingho Nada Simhamadim Shatanam Prapade Tavakada Kamalavade Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakata Kamalavade Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Danu Bringam Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Lord Nrsimhadev ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Shri Shri Gonatai ki. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai. Thank you, devotees, for being here to listen to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We'll start at the introduction. Om He Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurhum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganha Ragunhatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindan Vineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Hevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, beginning with chapter 18, text 42. Chapter is entitled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. Text 42. Prabhu, we're about to put it on the screen here. We're about to put it on the screen. Do we have another book? No. I know where one is. Okay. We'll start on text 42. Shamho dhamhastapashau cham shantir arjavam evacha Gyanham vigyanam astityam brahmakarma swabhavajam. We can read the transliteration and translation together in unison. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Text 43. Sharyam tejo dhritirdakshyam yudhe chapyapalayanam Danam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma swabhavajam. Translation. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Text 44, page 813. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Text 44. Krishi Gorakshavan Vanijam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. Translation. Farming, cow protection, business are the qualities of work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there is labor and service to others. Text 45. Swe karmanya birata samsiddhim labate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yata vindati tachtranu. Translation. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. Text 46. Yata pravritya bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam Swakarmanha tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Translation. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. Text 47. Shrehan swadharmo viguna padadharmat swanushtatat Subhava niyatam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. Translation. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Prescribed duties according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Text 48. Sahajam karma kaunteya satosham apinatyajit sarvarambha hi doshena dumhinhagnir ivavritaha. Translation. Every endeavor is covered by some sort of fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore one should not give up the work which is born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Text 49. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigatas priha naishkarmya siddhim paramham sanyasyin adhikachchati. Translation. One can renunciation simply by self-control and by becoming unattached to material things and disregarding material enjoyments. That is the highest perfectional stage of renunciation. Text 50. Siddhim prapto yata brahma tatapnoti nabodham he samhasin haiva konteya nishta jnanasya yapara. Translation. O son of Kunti, learn from me in brief how one can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, by acting in the way which I shall now summarize. Okay, last text, 51 through 53. Budhya vishuraya yukto dhrityatmanham niyamya cha shabdadhin vishayam styaktva raga tvesha vyodasya cha vivikta sevi lagvasi yata vakaya manasaha dhyana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samupashritaha ahankaram balam darpam kamham krodham parigraham vimuchya niramama shanto brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Translation. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, becoming freed from attachment and hatred. One who lives in a secluded place, who eats little and who controls the body and the tongue, and is always in trance and is detached, who is without false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and who does not accept material things. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Neve Shesha Shunyavari Pashatyari Shikvarine. Alright, we'll go back to text 42 now. As we wrap up this last chapter to this very old, very great book. As we heard last night from Sachi Sutta Prabhu, this is the summary chapter. Actually, the Bhagavad Gita really only has 17 chapters, but within this 18th chapter, the Lord, all throughout the Bhagavad Gita, is pretty much saying the same thing over and over and over, but in a little bit different ways, mainly for the benefit of us who need the expounded details into this very difficult to understand subject matter pertaining to the absolute truth, transcendental knowledge, really. And it's really not that it's so simple, it's actually the function of the living entity to know this knowledge, and we can actually never truly be without it, but it's just that we're covered to it. So Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabonoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Korea Udoi, that the living entity is actually pure in his heart all the time, and there's nothing outside of himself that he needs to gain, and it's only through the process of hearing this transcendental vibration, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitti, Shuddha Chitte, that his heart becomes purified in the process, and that he's reinstated within his everlasting constitutional position of a servant to the servants of the Lord. So as we hear the Bhagavad Gita, we can never hear too much, and we must hear with open ears and an inquisitive mind, and we must really seek within ourselves peace from these pangs of material miseries that that plague us. So we should make that our honest, sincere prayer, that as we hear, our heart becomes purified bit by bit. And as we chant, we do so in a way that's more humbler than the blade of grass, more tolerant than the tree, without any desiring for false prestige. And in this way, we can make ourselves qualified to always chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Let us pray like that. So we'll begin here, chapter 18, text 42. And immediately we're hearing about the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. So these next few verses here are going to go through the various varnas, or class of men, who are subjected to a specific nature that's born of their prescribed duties. So, Brahmanas, they're peaceful. They have attained self-control within themselves. They know austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, and wisdom, knowledge and religiousness. So these are very admirable qualities, and they speak to the qualification of the Brahmanas being at the top of the Varnashram system, in the sense of the position that they're in. They have a greater responsibility to rightly instruct the rest of society in ways that are righteous, in ways that uphold the laws of Dharma. And they know tolerance, and therefore they're very great men. It's said in the Krishna book that one's capacity to tolerate provocative situations directly measures his greatness. Or rather, you can measure a man's greatness by his capacity to tolerate provocative situations. So, all the while, as we go about our days, we're having to tolerate the urges of the mind, the urges of the body, right? The urges of the tongue, of the stomach, of the genitals, the urges of anger that cannot really be subdued. And if we let ourselves become influenced unconsciously by these urges that are just within the living entity's capacity to exhibit, if we allow ourselves to be swayed by those, then we're known as what's called a Godasa, a servant of the senses. So this is the large, greater society can be referred to as a servant of the senses. And you see that it's their knowledge that's many-branched, right? Whereas it's the devotee who's fixed on that supreme object of his meditation, the Lord in his personal form, who is singular in purpose, whose knowledge is whose knowledge is resolute, and like that, actually bearing fruit. It's actually, there's something to be gained from that process. Whereas otherwise we're just simply led astray by our mind to this or to that, always jumping around from one branch to another. Because these pursuits we're chasing are so satiated so quickly, we're always looking for what comes next, or increasing it to a greater degree, which ultimately only further entangles us, because these are karma. This is karma and vikarma that we're talking about. Activity that binds us here to this world, either that's sinful or righteous, but nonetheless binding in the sense that what goes around comes around, or you reap what you sow. So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is true in physics. This is also true in spiritual life. So we must understand that actually it's the work that we abide by that lifts us up to higher platforms of knowledge that we should be seeking. And this is what's being spoken about in the following verses. So very naturally, let's proceed. Here we're hearing about the Kshatriyas and the type of qualities that make up their division of society, which consist of heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership. These are the qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Moving on now. Farming. Hare Krishna Prabhu. You have a question? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Before we move on, the first word on text number 42, it's samo, peacefulness.
Shamo.
Shamo. Can you speak a little bit on shamo, peacefulness derived from bhakti versus bliss or ecstasy?
Nice question. Yeah, well, it's the foundation of bhakti. It's peacefulness. We cannot actually be happy until we've attained peace. So this is spoken about in chapter 5, text 29. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. We went over this one recently, I think, in class. Suhardam sarvabhutanam gyatwamam shantimishyati. And this is talking about, it's the devotee truly who can attain peace through the realization that the Supreme Lord is the controller and master of the demigods. He's the purpose of all austerities and sacrifice. And He's the ultimate, supreme, best friend who's always within our heart. Suhardam. It means like there are different words for friendship in Sanskrit, and Suhardam is by far the sweetest. So there are words for friends in Sanskrit that speak to the relatives that we have or our close associates, but ultimately one who's sweetly interested in our continued happiness and well-being. This is the one who really has our best interest in mind. To know that Krishna, He's the epitome of that person in our life, and He's always there with us in all of our lives, in all the bodies that we take. There He is. So, knowing these three aspects, that Krishna is the controller, the enjoyer, the proprietor of everything, this is what leads someone to that understanding that can actually rid them from all other desires. That's really, it's what our desires, it's where our desires take us, that end up getting us in trouble within the material world. So there's another nice verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Tvivashant, Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakaleya Shant, that it's really only the devotee who is truly desireless. He has no material motive, no motive at all outside of the desire to know the Lord, to serve the Lord, to hear about the Lord, all the different processes of bhakti. It's only he who can actually attain peace, whereas it's the fruit of workers, the karma bodies who are making material plans, right, trying to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And it's the jnanis who are after search for impersonal liberation. Shri Shri Gauranatai Ki Jai. Who are plagued by the own reactions of their subtle pursuits to attaining peace, as they do so in impure ways. Because we hear that liberation, that aspiring for liberation, for that impersonal absorption into the Brahmajyoti, pretty much merging into the energy of the Lord, that kind of desire, though it is spiritual, it's also born out of an impure desire to become one with the Lord and to give up our constitutional position of an eternal person who is in service to the Supreme Person, of which, through this connection of servant and master, the most supreme exchange of love and bliss and peace, and all this is exchanged. So it's the fruit of workers, they don't find peace. It's the jnanis, they don't find peace, and it's also the yogis, the developed yogis, who have undertaken such great penances and austerities, all in the name of acquiring some material opulence. That's also very clearly done in pure motives. But it's actually it's interesting because within bhakti is also found all other kinds of yoga. It's like bhakti is the reservoir that all other yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, it all pools into devotion. What's that? Converts into, culminates. It all culminates. Yeah, that's right. That's the word. So it's really only the bhakti yogi that can enjoy the pursuits of all these other people. Meaning, what I mean to say is that, so the fruit of worker, he's looking to enjoy the results of his activities. That naturally comes. We're naturally enjoying everything we do when we are in fixed, loving service to the Lord. Because like I mentioned, there's this blissful reciprocation that the Lord gives us. We conquer the Lord through our approach to Him. And then ultimately, liberation is also found to be waiting at our doorstep with folded hands, waiting to greet us. There's nothing that can touch or harm a pure devotee of the Lord. So we also satisfy the desires of the jnana yogi. And then, it's also said that devotees, bhakti yogis, are given, in some cases through the Lord's discretion, or I'm not sure exactly how it works, but they also are given mystic powers. Devotees are very special, and they're not to be seen as anything ordinary. And they pretty much transcend the laws of this material nature in the sense that they're not limited, or they have a greater capacity to utilize all the opulences that we share with the Lord. They're able to access different parts of their being that might be closed off for the materially conditioned soul. And like that, so much is given to them in the way of material or mystic powers. But it's not within that devotee's best interest or his interest at all to exhibit those. So therefore he might not actively show them. Because why else would you go around gallivanting, distributing some show that you have some sort of mystic opulence? It's because you want some sort of fame or adoration or distinction from the common man who we're qualitatively one with. That's impure. That's born out of envy ultimately from the Lord, that we feel the need to put ourselves above the next man over. So obviously one with such an impure motive, he can never actually attain the true knowledge of the Lord. It's said that one who's in real knowledge, he surrenders to the Lord after many, many lives. Bahunam janmanam ante, jnanavan mam prapadyate, vasudeva sarvamiti. He knows that the Lord is the cause of all causes, of all that be, all that is, all that ever was, So, such a great soul is very rare. Samahatma sudurlabhaha. Great soul, very rare. And it's he who truly attains peace. So I kind of went off into a tangent here, but essentially what I wanted to get at is that peace is the foundation that bhakti is built on. It's imperative, and it's a symptom of the bliss that we later come to feel as we climb the rungs of the yoga ladder, you could say. Is that okay? It's a really nice question. Because actually that's something I stick to when I'm on book distribution, because everyone wants peace. Not everyone's actively pursuing ecstatic symptoms of bliss and ecstasy and love of God, because they don't know about those. They don't know that, they don't know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incredible, almost unbelievable symptoms of ecstasy that you just would fall into. or that he would sometimes cause other people to fall into, like we were recently hearing at the prasadam table about Jagai and Madhai, and how which one was it that struck Nityananda Prabhu? Was it Madhai? No, it was Jagai, I think. Are you sure? Because I forget. I forget. Is it Jagai? Yeah. Anyway, one of the brothers had struck Lord Nityananda Prabhu on that forehead with like a stone or something, and so forcefully it had hit him that he started bleeding. There was a giant gash in his head, and he drew blood from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and committed the greatest offense. He wanted to harm him, and he followed through with corporal action to try to achieve that goal. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very angry, to say the least, and went through this whole pastime of withholding his mercy, even though that the culprit, the instigator, had fallen at the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, realizing that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was God, after he took out his Sudarshan disc and was getting ready to execute this offender. He falls at the lotus feet of the Lord, and then he begins to pray for mercy, mercy, mercy. And Lord Chaitanya is so enraged at the harm that's befallen his most dear associate, that he doesn't even give the mercy immediately. Though we hear Lord Chaitanya to be the most merciful, he's in this he's exhibiting this pastime of this response, right, for protecting his bhakta, for protecting his devotee, and therefore it's Lord Nityananda Prabhu that actually has to end up convincing Lord Chaitanya and telling him, hey, within this Kali Yuga, it's your responsibility to save the souls, not to kill the souls. So if they're exhibiting demoniac tendencies, it's not that you go around killing them, because if you kill this one, then you'll have to kill all of them. Everyone in Kali Yuga, kaler dosha nithe rajan nastya hyeka mahan gunaha. Kali Yuga is like an ocean of faults, but there's one good quality, and it's that by chanting the Maha Mantra, we can become purified and become qualified to actually perfect our very life. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he speaks this, not that verse specifically, but he's saying, if you kill this one, you'll have to kill them all. And this isn't what you came here to do. And like that, he incites the Lord to find the mercy to give the offender. And we can understand from this pastime so much. Where was I going with this? Does anyone remember how I got on this tangent? Peacefulness. They don't know the ecstatic symptoms of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They don't know at all. The whole point of me going into this pastime is because when the Lord forgave these two most sinful brothers, a mere touch on their shoulder is what sent them into ecstasy, just full-on fainted, rolling on the ground, exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. I mean, this is like the topmost display of transcendental pleasure. This is what's given to the soul who's in pure devotion to God, though he doesn't even want to feel that kind of pleasure, because it puts him out of capacity to render any kind of action for the Lord. Like a pure devotee doesn't even want to go into ecstatic states of bliss, because then he can no longer do his duty. Even though he's so far above doing his duty, we hear that such a great soul, for the benefit of the rest of the world, undertakes that act. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tad tad eve taro janaha. Sayad pramanam kurute lokas tad anivartate. That what a great man does, the whole world follows, right? And whatever exemplary activities he displays, all the world pursues. Like that. So the pure devotee doesn't even want this bliss, but it's afforded to him. It's awarded to him. It's it's the great mercy of the Lord that drives us wild, and in all the best ways. So, the common man, he can't understand that, and therefore, when I preach on book distribution, I'm simply preaching on the basis of this will give you peace. We can understand that because we're all suffering. We're all suffering. So, before we find any kind of happiness, we have to find peace, and that's my go-to on book distribution. Everyone's just miserable out there. Just look at their face. It tells the whole story of their life, and now we're put in a position where we can help them in ways that they might not even realize initially. You know, when I got the Srimad Bhagavatam, I didn't realize what I was doing, what I was getting myself into. But very mercifully, through Krishna's causeless mercy, and through a friend of mine, I was put on to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's, so many people in my life have told me, oh, you got to read this book. Oh, check out this book, Try to sell you on a book or some idea, and you just don't buy it, There's something about it, you just, it's not, I don't want to do that. I don't want to give my time, my energy to that. For whatever reason, Krishna within our hearts, he's inspiring the devotees to take up devotional service. And something about the Srimad Bhagavatam spoke to me, and I can only take that as the great mercy of the Lord to give me the good sense to take a look into it, though it did take me some years to get around to doing. So let's preach on the basis of faith, knowing our audience, and then we can also get into much more developed states of ecstasy with those who are interested in hearing that same subject matter. All right, reading the next verse here. We're almost out of time. If anyone has another question, feel free. Otherwise, we'll continue. Text 45. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. So, Krishna's setting the scene here, as we'll come to hear from him how a person who performs his duties, how they achieve perfection. Text 46. By the worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. Purport. As stated in the 15th chapter, all living beings are fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. As such, the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all living entities. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And the Supreme Lord, by his two energies, his external and internal energy, is all-pervading. Therefore, one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnava devotees worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His external energy is a perverted reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the expansion of his plenary portion as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the supersoul of all demigods, all human beings, all animals everywhere. One should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, it is his duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. That is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesha, the master of the senses, and by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, should be worshipped. If one thinks in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Te Sham Adham Samhudarta. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. This morning's Bhagavatam verse actually spoke about karma yoga, and this is what we're hearing about as we go through this purport here. Looking up the verse from this morning. Yeah, it says in the purport, We read this morning. A person who works very hard, no matter in what occupation, and who offers the result of the work to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is called a karma yogi. Karma yogi. So we're hearing in this very elaborate purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada the means by which, through Nishkam Karma Yoga, which means the desireless result that we have while engaging in our duties, it turns into bhakti. So this is called Nishkama Karma Yoga, or Karma Mishra Bhakti. It's what one undergoes to lift one up to a higher form of knowledge, and pure, unadulterated, unmotivated devotional service, which we hear is the only way to really satisfy the soul. Ahaituki yapratiyata yayatma suprasidati. That through the unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service rendered, then that is the only way to completely satisfy the self. Yayatma suprasidati. So, such work in devotion, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from this world. So it's interesting because this is a point that I've been meditating on lately, is that, I'm conscious of the time here, that the material world is not far off for one who is finding themselves practicing bhakti yoga, but still here. And we're in contact. We're living in the material world, but the thing is for the devotee is that they're not really in the material world. But it's because of his close contact with it that he feels himself so contaminated like that. But through the recognition of its dangers, the very dangerous situation that we're in, a very precarious situation, through the recognition of that, one can become what's called alert in fear. And we have to become alert in fear all the time. As we heard last night from Sachi Sutta Prabhu, very nicely spoke about how gravity is such that it pulls everything down, and that's just the nature, period, in this material world. To where if we stop even for a second to get complacent or comfortable, then that's the gap that Maya enters into. And that's how we become illusioned, through the forgetfulness that actually my guard should be up. I should be constantly endeavoring to hear, to chant, to serve, unmotivated and uninterruptedly. That's the key. Without any interruptions. And then we'll be happy. Then we'll find peace. So I'll stop there. Hare Krishna devotees. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.